We digital warriors have rattled a big old Zionist cage. Please watch this video to the end so that you can get the full context of this small victory. Meet Jonathan Greenblatt, head of the Anti-Defamation League, uber-Zionist and all-round nice guy. Context for the ADL is that it is an organisation set up in 1913 with the mission to stop the defamation of the Jewish people and to secure justice and fair treatment to all. Yeah, okay. Anyway, what follows is a leaked phone call where Jonathan is expressing sincere concern that the language has changed across social media and especially on TikTok and especially with Gen Z in respect to Israel. He even goes as far as frightening those that he is speaking to that the language that we use is very similar to Iranian propaganda. His words are very telling. Obviously genuinely concerned that we are no longer falling in line with the expected narrative, as he goes on to suggest that the Israeli tech giants should create something to combat this. Combat what exactly? The truth. Anyway, let's listen to his words.
I also want to point out that we have a major generational problem. All the polling I've seen, ADL's polling, ICC's polling, independent polling, suggests this is not a left-right gap, folks. The issue in the United States' support for Israel is not left and right. It is young and old. And the numbers of young people who think that Hamas's, massacre was justified is shockingly and terrifyingly high. And so we really have a TikTok problem, a Gen Z problem, that our community needs to put the same brains that gave us Taglit, the same brains that gave us all these other amazing innovations, need to put our energy toward this, fast. Because again, we've been chasing this left-right divide. It's the wrong game. The real game is the next generation, and the Hamas and their accomplices, the useful idiots in the West, are falling in line in ways that are terrifying. Lastly, I'll just say, we saw a dramatic change in the language of the activists here in America on October the 8th. The language of groups that we've long tracked who've long been problematic, like Students for Justice in Palestine and Jewish Voices for Peace, they flipped like this and went to Iranian propaganda. The language I could show you from their toolkits, because our analysts are in their groups. We saw this again on October the 8th. It was that fast. The language in their toolkits was all about the Zionist entity and lots of other language that we recognized from Iranian propaganda. We think there's something more to this that's below the waterline. It's the young generation we need to be focusing energy on. There's something happening with Iran and how it's now their propaganda and their language and their tactics seem to be bleeding into the American kind of activist space in ways that are very different than NIAC and very, very problematic.
Jonathan Greenblatt has been in a bit of controversy previously with the ADL. In a major speech at the organisation's National Leadership Summit last May, he announced that the ADL would devote more energy to combat anti-Zionism. Anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, he said, promising that the ADL would apply more concentrated energy towards the threat of radical anti-Zionism. He suggested doing this through lawsuits, research and lobbying. Please be aware that we are witnessing a serious concern within core Zionist organisations outside of Israel, and they will be fighting back. I would suggest that all anti-occupation, pro-Palestinian liberty creators go and make several backup accounts once again and start plugging them across your socials. Don't let them isolate us. Make sure you follow all those pro-Pali creators that you love. Like and share, comment and save the videos in your favourites as often as possible. The algorithm loves that stuff. But take stock and breathe for a second. And know that the cage that we have rattled has made a difference, and we can make a definitive change, not just for Palestine, but also for all the oppressed people across the world.